Talk a little bit about Bexar County and its relationship to ICE. My name's Shannon Locke. I'm board certified in criminal law. I practice every day in state and federal court. I was running for district attorney, and I ran on a platform of investigating and prosecuting ICE agents that break the law. So let's talk about law enforcement's relationship, Bexar County law enforcement relationship to ICE. How does it work? So most people, when they think of law enforcement inside of Bexar County, they think of two agencies. They think of the Bexar County Sheriff's Department and they think of the San Antonio Police Department. And it's true that those agencies probably do like 90% of the police work inside of Bexar County. But there are many other police agencies. There's approximately 62 police departments inside of Bexar County. Every school system has its own police force. Every university has its own police force. And each one of those police departments is able to make agreements with ICE so that they can cooperate at a greater level than what San Antonio and Bexar County have agreed to do. So the sheriff's department is in kind of a special situation, and it's not a great position, but they're in a position that they were put in by state law. They have to cooperate with ICE. If they have somebody in their detention who has an ICE hold, they have to turn them over to ICE according to state law. And every sheriff, because they're sworn to uphold the law, is going to follow that law, and they have to follow that law in the state of Texas. Now, here's the other thing. Each police department can then decide to cooperate more fully with ICE. And certain police departments inside of Bexar County have made that decision. They've decided that when they come in contact with somebody that they believe has an immigration issue, that they can turn those people over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Who are those police departments? It's important for us to know. The first is the constable's office in JP3. So the constable's office, they mostly do speeding tickets, they do evictions, they do those sorts of things. If they come in contact with somebody that they believe might have an immigration issue, they can turn them over to ICE. It's important to know. If you're a landlord and you call the sheriff or the constable on somebody, a tenant of yours, that tenant could end up getting deported in Precinct 3 in Bexar County. It's important to know. The others, China Grove, St. Hedwig's, Marshal's Office, Hollywood Park, and Balcones Heights. The Texas Department of Public Safety also has this more extensive cooperation agreement with ICE. Now, this is not good for San Antonio, and it's not good for Bexar County. It's not good for the residents of the places that have made these more extensive agreements. And I'm going to explain to you why. You want, as a citizen, you want everybody to be able to call the police. When I was campaigning for district attorney, I would go to people and I would talk to them. And one of the people that I talked to was the Domicilios Unidos. That's the United House Workers. And they told me, look, we get ripped off all the time. Somebody will employ us and then they won't pay us. Somebody will assault us and we can't call the police. And they know that we can't call the police. We are an unprotected people, because if we call the police, there's a chance that we'll end up in immigration custody. And I was telling them, well, if you're in San Antonio, and they're like, well, how do we know if we're in San Antonio or we're in China Grove or we're in Balcones Heights or we're in Precinct 3 and the constable shows up because we're living in a house that, in a place that the landlord has decided to evict us from. So they were terrified, and that makes them extraordinarily vulnerable to crime because people know that if somebody has an immigration situation, that if they can't call the police, they can be victimized freely. It's incredibly dangerous. So I would encourage everybody to put pressure on those police departments, on those little police departments, the smaller towns, and put pressure on them not to have these extensive cooperation agreements with ICE. It's not good for your community. The San Antonio Police Department is getting it right. They want everybody to be able to call the police because everybody deserves the protection of the police department without fear of being detained or given an immigration hold as a result of asking for the police department's protection. So this is an important issue, and I would encourage everybody, especially the folks in Precinct 3, to call the constable up and say, look, we don't want you to have these extensive cooperation agreements with ICE. It's just not, it's very counterproductive.